Well, hi everybody. I'm John Ritlin. This is my review of AEW Dynamite from Mike, Huntsville, Alabama. That's right, you knew I damn well was going to say that joke. And how was the show? Was it good? Was it bad? There was some bad. There was also some good. I liked the closing segment, so let's jump right on into it. We get Jon Moxley kicking us off, or John, I'm not even going to try to do it like Justin Roberts does, because I don't have that strong of a voice, and also I'm not going to try to become a meme because, he's already become one hell of a meme. However, he's still one hell of an entertaining ring announcer. So we have Jon Moxley still playing up the Solid Snake cosplay, the whole thing with the eye patch. Also, can't wait to see him face Minoru Suzuki at New Beginning in Osaka on the 9th. So I'm absolutely excited for that. So anyway, we get Jon Moxley versus Ortiz with Santana at ringside. And not bad. This is building up the whole inner circle thing. Jon Moxley going after the inner circle, building up this whole match he's going to have with Chris Jericho at Revolution. If he does not win the title, I'm going to be very, very surprised, to be honest. Now we get Jericho and Guevara on commentary. Hager was also there, being about as useful as he's been, which means not at all. And they shout a lot. Jericho, though, does end up putting over the inner circle. He puts over Jon Moxley as being one of the best in the world. He's the reason why he's there and that he is legit tough. So, even though Jericho's healing it up, he's doing a pretty good job there. Not a bad match. Paradigm shift for the win. There we go. 1, 2, 3. And then Santana gets in the ring. And Moxley still has the forward keys, from that car that he stole from Jericho, and has the keys and decides eye for an eye. He stabs it into Santana's eye. So we get that going on. I guess that's how you use a Ford. Have you driven a Ford lately? Have you driven a Ford key into someone's eye lately? That should be the new tagline. But anyway, certainly not a bad match. Certainly not a bad closing segment. Hey, you got the whole eye for an eye thing gets revisited a little bit later. And then we get SCU, not with Christopher Daniels, versus the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. And, well, okay, you already know my opinion on what I feel about Orange Cassidy. People like him. That's great. I don't. I don't care how good of a wrestler he is. I just don't care. Check out my AEW Dark review if you really want to know what my thoughts were on some stuff that he was involved with. Anyway, so Daniel's not at ringside. They play up the whole thing of the Dark Order's trying to recruit him. Stop trying to make the Dark Order happen. Stop. It's not going to happen. It's not good. Hashtag disband the Dark Order. So, match is fine. It is okay. Just, again, if Orange Cassidy's involved, I generally just don't care because I don't care about the character. There was a nice German suplex that Trent took outside. I really hope he's okay. That looked pretty vicious. Trent and Chuck work well together. Trent's much more of a single star. Chuck is fine when he's teaming up. If he tries to compete on his own, he's not very interesting. And SCU, tremendous talents. Got to meet them last January, January of last year. Great talents. And, great to watch in the ring. Great to finally meet, 3 guys that I've really admired for a while. And so, what happened? Sunset flipped into a pin, 1, 2, 3. So, Trent gets pinned. Not Chuck, but, Trent gets pinned. And then how do we continue this segment? How do we build off of that? Oh, we have the Dark Order come down because nobody likes the Dark Order, but let's put the Dark Order here. The gimmick sucked when they started. They sucked in the reboot. They're sucking now. You can try to make it happen all you want. I'm not buying into it. There are some people that are. That's fine. If you guys like it, great. Fine. I don't get why. But again, we all like different things, and I'm not going to knock you guys for that. But then, so they're beating up everybody. And then Orange Cassidy gets in there with the Dark Order, and they tease handing them a mask. So you're combining 2 things that I absolutely hate about AEW. Because, the Dark Order, at least with Orange Cassidy, I guess maybe he could have some kind of wrestling ability. I just don't see the potential of the Dark Order. They're fucking losers. They're worse than the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny. At least you got Allie there. And don't worry, I'll talk about her in a little bit, and I'll actually talk about the group in general. But for fuck's sake, you got this, and then they beat him up, and then you got Christopher Daniels coming down, and they just leave. They're like, no, we're not gonna hurt you. And they talk about the Exalted One. Who's the Exalted One? Is it going to end up being Matt Hardy? Is it going to be Matt Hardy after he leaves the company, leaves WWE? I really don't know at this point. I really don't care generally, because anybody they stick in this group is automatically fucking done. But whatever. We get the 10 Lashes High Package, Taz, and a few people talking about it. And then we get Britt Baker versus Yuka Sakazaki. The Genie Girl is back. I know that I do knock Riho. But here's the reason why. It's because she's champion. As a performer, she's actually not that bad. Sure, she's tiny. She can do a lot of shit. But her not being champion would be fine. That's why I like Yuka Sakazaki. That's, in fact, she has a hell of a goddamn theme in Japan. It actually absolutely makes no goddamn sense. But also, she has this cool look about her. She's a genie girl. She just has this nice look and everything, and she can do some really good shit. She also has a decent presence. I think Hikaru Shida has the most presence out of anybody they signed from Japan, but that's another story for another day. Match was fine. The crowd did cheer Yuka, and here's the thing about Britt Baker. They pretty much butchered her from the first time that they brought her out. Like, she hasn't been wrestling all that long. She's green. She still needs time to develop. They nuked her as a babyface, then they switched her heel. She has not been good on heel promos, though she wasn't horrible last week. She just wasn't great. They need to really work on her and everything because they've already destroyed her character. But that being said, Yuka gets the victory, so okay, there were a few awkward spots in the match, so that's going to happen. And then Britt attacks her with the bell, which took a goddamn eternity because I guess Britt was weighed down by the bell, or maybe she thought the bell was a timer for one of her doctor's appointments. I don't fucking know. I mean, they seem to just be saying, hey, go out there and do stuff as a heel and not really give her any guidelines. I mean, just let her go out there and be herself. Okay. She hits Yuka with the belt, puts Yuka's mouth over the ropes, and then does a curb stomp. And apparently Yuka lost one of her teeth. That was pretty goddamn brutal. Or it was a fake tooth. I don't know, honestly. She was bleeding from the mouth. So unless they gimmicked this really good, that was something. But yeah, it got Britt over, and there was a bit of a violence theme heading into the main event. So Britt also has all the charisma of a wet pile of bread. And I don't know why you'd have a pile of bread anywhere, because Kojima would be very upset about the waste of bread. But seriously, without a bit of a revamp, Britt is not going to be the star they need her to be. So we get the Butcher of the Blade with the bunny. Allie is a leather girl, and also JR was thirsting over her. Sweet Christ, was he thirsting tonight. With the Lucha Bros, and Lucha Bros, by the way, great to meet. Met Pentagon, fantastic talent. Versus Omega, Page, and the Bucks. The Elite. The Elite. It was flippy shit. Everybody get in here. It was a car wreck. That's not to say it was all bad. Now, this was a very indie-rific match, and there was too many spots to call and everything. I don't think anybody cared about tags. At this point, it was just lucha rules. It was moves for the sake of moves. There was really not a lot of psychology to it. Page did have this one moment where he did hurt his knee. He hurt his knee doing that moonsault. Maybe he did really tweak it. I don't know. But he seemed to be moving fine and selling it a little bit later. He does that cool, fall away slam, where and then he does a kip up. He did it to the Butcher. That's pretty impressive because that guy is probably about 270, 280. And then the Penta package with the Phoenix Stomp 1, 2, 3 that pins Hangman. So Hangman Page, because he would not tag one of the Bucks, and then he gets pinned, and okay, and then that gets visited a little bit later. We get dissension among the Elite. Does anybody really care? Honestly, I mean, we know what this is coming to, but they're trying to run 5 miles to cover the storyline when they only need to run 1. Doing a slow burn is one thing, but it's obvious where they're going with this. They're going to have a tag title match next week where probably Omega and Page are going to lose. But anyway, I digress. We get Pac threatening Miho backstage. Says, well, Nakazawa didn't mean anything to you. You just left him out there, so let's see how you feel about Riho. Let's see how you feel about Riho. I may have said Miho, and I apologize. I have New Japan on the brain. So we get him threatening her and says, well, I'm a bastard, but I'm not a beast. But she is, because Omega had agreed to the match and said, oh, I'm not going to hit a woman, but she will. And Nyla attacks Riho and throws her through a table. Well, attempted to, but Riho's so goddamn light she did not break the table. I mean, I hope Riho's okay, because that looked kind of brutal. And Nyla then licks her hand and does this and everything. I don't exactly know what that's about. I guess she marked her. Whatever. I do want to say this much about Nyla, that if you don't like her ability in the ring, if you're just not interested in the character, fine. But let's keep the transphobic comments off this video and off stuff. Let's get a little more awakened on this shit. Because if you guys are going to be like that, you're not going to be watching my videos. I'm all for people being educated on things, but I'm not going to deal with that shit. I didn't mind this stuff, so that's just a little bit of a sidebar right there. I like this, and Nyla, for the love of God, has got to be Rio next week. And nothing against Rio. Fine girl, talented, but does not need to be champion anymore. Then we get Darby with a silent video package because he got a skateboard jammed onto his throat. Okay, that was kind of unique, and Darby's a pretty damn cool talent. Kip Sabian with Penelope Ford versus Joey Janela. Sweet Christ, JR's thirst was out of goddamn motherfucking control. I'm one to talk about thirst tweets and talk about women that I like in wrestling. I'm also not a nearly 70-year-old announcer on a nationwide platform that's thirsting over women that could practically be that are practically the age of what could be his granddaughter. And whatever, it is what it is. I mean, the JR must have been hanging around Lawler too much, though at least he's hanging on women that are of age. So I didn't care about this feud. I didn't. The match was okay. It was fine. I don't really care for Janela. Sabian's not bad. Ford, I think, could be good in a wrestler role. Maybe they'll give her more of an opportunity. And then at one point, oh, for fuck's sake, JR with the line, I just know she has blue eyes. Shivani, she does. Fucking hell, and then Ford causes a distraction. Try to roll up 1, 2, 3. We then get a lot. That's the last match, by the way. And we still have about 30 minutes left. We get Santana with an eye patch. An eye for an eye match next week with Moxley. Probably a blindfold match, I imagine. Dark Order vignette. Stop trying to make the Dark Order happen. It's not going to happen. So, Hangman is upset with the Elite. Has a drink that gets taken away from him and then pulls out a mug. We are getting the Bucks versus Hangman and Omega next week. I think we're getting a title change. We're getting Nyla versus Riho next week. Please, for the love of God, let that at least be a title change. Eye for an eye match that I just mentioned. In 2 weeks in Atlanta, Cody versus Wardlow in the steel cage. Pac versus Omega in an Iron Man match in Kansas City just before the Revolution pay-per-view. And then we get Dustin with saying to Cody, you got this. And then we get the lashings. The 10 lashes. Cody must take all the lashes and survive them to get to go on the next stage, face MJF. A lot of asshole chants to MJF, and this was some good stuff. I really enjoyed this. I thought this was pretty goddamn good. I still say MJF, if he's not the best heel in wrestling, he's one of the best heels in wrestling. People can argue who the best heel in wrestling is. At this point, it might be Kenta. Kenta might actually be the best heel in wrestling, and MJF's pretty goddamn close to that. But anyway, we get people coming out on stage. I'm not going to mention them all, but Butcher, Blade Bunny, Sabian, Britt, Ford, Sammy were also out there. I'm sure there were others. As MJF is whipping Cody and saying, well, this belt's really nice. I want your belt. And he starts whipping him with the belt and stuff like that. And the first couple, okay. By the third, I mean, he was whipping him. And there were marks on his shoulders and his back and stuff like that. And Cody's legit tough for taking that. It was typical throwback, good territory stipulation and everything, and it was the right call. It was a good way to do it. It was a good way to build suspense. Arn was there to encourage him. Dustin was there. Dustin said, "Let me take the last 5 lashes." MJF said, that's not how it works. Cody gets up to 8. The Bucks are there, and Wardlow hands in, gets number 9 in. And that's the idea is the bigger guy's going to really lay him out because MJF's getting frustrated. He's continuing to stay around and stuff like that. I don't want this. I don't want to have this match. He needs to fall down. Brandy even comes out and says, and Brandy, who apparently is babyface now, just suddenly, I guess they're done with the Nightmare Collective, probably goddamn smart at this point, says, no, you got this. Weirdest babyface turn of all time. And 10 lashes, and Cody survives. I mean, I think he was bleeding at one point, so that looked pretty bad. The lashes are done. That is the end of Dynamite. We've got this. He goes on to the next stage to face Wardlow in 2 weeks in Atlanta. I liked it. Now, there were issues I had with this show. Despite that, I'm going to surprise people and give this a B. And the reason I'm going to give this a B is I was more entertained by this than I expected. Now, I probably would have given this an A-, except you had to include the Dark Order and Orange Cassidy and stuff like that, and I'm sorry, that was pretty goddamn bullshit. But, yeah, B. Sure, there were issues that I had with it, but a lot of the good outweighed the bad. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you soon.